Welcome aboard the new patient group flight deck. Less chaos. Check. Less stress. Check. Less advertising costs. Check. More personal and financial freedom. Check. All right, business checklist completed. Let the takeoff roll begin. Welcome to Season 7 of the New Patient Group Audio Experience, a podcast dedicated to forward-thinking doctors wanting to learn innovative ways to run their business today so your practice can achieve new heights tomorrow. And now your host. He's the founder and CEO of New Patient Group, managing partner of RightChat, and a trusted motivational speaker for Invisalign, OrthoFi, and others. Brian Wright.
Hey, New Patient Group and RightChat Nation. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Brian Wright here, and welcome into another edition of the New Patient Group podcast. Just getting back from AAO, just got in yesterday. It was great seeing everybody. Oliver from OrthoFi and I knocked out a great workshop on Friday, and the amount of people that came up and said best I've seen was amazing. Podcast listeners, as always, shout out to you. It was great meeting a bunch of the new faces at the AAO as our podcast continues to grow. I get to meet more and more people that are saying, hey, you're helping change my life. You're helping change my business, and that means the world to us, means the world to me. Quick reminder for everybody, it is in the description below. I have a registration link on there that you can go and register. We are in the midst of about to launching a brand new boot camp, all-around case presentation, the financial presentation. Doctor, you've left. It's time to present money. And Coach Eric, Chief Operational Officer of New Patient Group, and our lead VIP coach is going to be running that, and it's going to be a series of a few different hardcore sessions, and I want you to view those boot camps. It's interesting when we deliver these boot camps. It's like the beginning of the year inside the gym where it's packed, and you've got a lot of people on there, and then slowly but surely, week 1 of January ends, there's less people, and week 2, and the next thing you know, it's the same people that they're always belong to the gym. And while our boot camps aren't packed, we're not looking for, 100 practices to get on there. We're just looking for a few. It's interesting how the practices kind of drop off, just like the weight loss or in the workout analogy. It's really cool and really put you through the ringers, lots of role plays, good scripting. And there's just so many mistakes made around consumer presentations when it comes to money. And there's so many misteachings inside the orthodontic bubble that are big-time sales no-nos. So if you really want to transform the financial presentation, that is what this boot camp is. The link below, click it. It'll take you to the description of that on our New Patient Group website and allow you to sign up. So hey, everybody, back behind the mic. Thought we'd continue on with this series today. If you're watching over our YouTube station, hey there, as always, remember, give us a thumbs up, make some comments, get some dialogue going, share this with your friends and colleagues. Would highly appreciate it. We're in the midst now. Today is part 2 of an ongoing series that we're doing all around how you know your business, your practice has achieved the pinnacle of customer service, transforming the patient experience. And being the patient experience company we are, I thought this would be a cool little mini series to do. If you have not listened, the first podcast that launched here in May talked about kind of the foundation, something that is very, very important. If you've listened to the podcast a long time, if you're a New Patient Group or RightChat family member or both, you probably know the definition, but I believe it's the most misunderstood terminology in business. If you have not listened to part 1, the one that came out on May 1st, please pause this and go listen to that first, or at minimum, watch today, listen today, and then go back and watch that. But it is an absolute essential piece to this series, and it is an essential piece for all of you to know where our minds are and what we are helping and what our mission is to help you accomplish in your organization. Very, very important. Today, we're going to be talking about one, and I mentioned this in the podcast that came out May 1st. And hey, look, it's hard. These things are not easy. This is an infinite journey. There is no finish line. But there are some indicators, and really there's only 3. If you go back and learn what the definition of customer service actually is, there's really only 3 indicators that will let you know, hey, look, you're achieving it. You're there. You should be very proud of yourself. Now the work has kind of changed. You got to make sure that you stay there, which a lot of times is harder than getting there to begin with. And that's like anything in life. That's sports. You win the World Series once, getting back again and winning it's even harder than the first time. There's all kinds of reasons for that. But today I'm going to tell a story first, and we'll end it on what this first one, even though May 1st was part one of this series, today is really part one in the sense of today's the first of the three on how you know you're achieving the pinnacle of customer service. There is a United pilot, and I have probably told this story at some point on this podcast. I've certainly told this story to many of you as customers out there if we're working with your practice. And, as a pilot and flying planes like I do, there's a lot of moving parts just to get the plane ready to go. Like a lot of checklists, a lot of interacting with ATIS, which gives you airport information, winds and takeoff, departing runways. And there's just a lot of things you got to get in order to be able to fly a safe flight. So commercially, these pilots, these airplanes are paid when they're in the air. That's when they make money. They don't make money to sit on the ground. So these pilots are, they're going through their checklist. They're doing all these things and they're busy. Just like, we're busy with what we do, just like you're busy with the daily interactions of what you do. The problem with busy as a pilot flying a commercial airliner, the problem with busy being a coach, and our company does, of course, digital marketing as well. The problem with you being busy inside your practice is it takes away from what I very much believe, we very much believe on here, is everybody is in the people first business, right? United Airlines, Delta Airlines, all of these airlines, you're buying a ticket. It's their job to fly you there safely. But the things that you remember are all the, when you interacted with their customer service team and you checked your luggage and you walked on the plane and all these non-plane flight things is really what you remember most, unless, of course, something bad and tragic happens. And it's the same way in your practice. It's the same way with us, the same way in your business. It's the non-clinical things that they're going to remember most, and it's why your Google reviews talk about your business way more than it does your practice. So I say that because credit to this United Airlines pilot for still understanding, look, I'm in the people business first. Without understanding that, I don't have a paycheck every single month because the people are what delivers the revenue to, in this case, United Airlines. So this pilot will come out, and this is more once almost everybody is boarded. There may be a few latecomers, but the doors are getting ready to be closed. And the pilot comes out and he will grab the microphone, the one that, the flight attendant up front speaks on. And he tells a story, and the story's really neat. It's the flight plan that he filed and where we're going to be flying over. And he thanks everybody for their business and their trust and their loyalty and says, without you, I don't have a job. We don't have a job. And how much we know your trust in United Airlines, how much just how much that means to us. And we want all of you to know it. And, he does his spiel, and his spiel is very nice. It's not long, but it's powerful. And then when he hangs up the mic, he then goes to first class. And I've had this pilot 3 times, which will show you that I probably fly too much. But it's easy to know when you've had a pilot like this because he does things so uniquely, so different. And, you could have the same pilot 25 times, but if all they do is sit up on the flight deck and you never really see them, you're not going to know you've had them more than once. Well, this guy, he sticks out like a sore thumb in a very good way. So he gets done and he comes up, and I have a lot of miles. United's my airline, a lot of miles, so I get upgraded to first a lot. And the 3 times that I've had him, I happen to be up in first. And he comes and he goes to every single passenger in first class, calls them by name, by last name, and thanks them for the business, right? So on top of the microphone thanking, he goes to each one. Then as he's going, he goes to the global service members and the 1K members, which are the 2 highest status you can get with United. I'm a 1K. And when he gets to those, he'll say, Mr. Wright, I want to appreciate you being a 1K. And he'll actually have the amount of miles. Like it looks like you're passing, miles 687,000 with us. That means a lot. And that data is available on the app, so they have the data. But just like a lot of your new patient paperwork out there, you have to have somebody that gives a damn enough to actually look at the information and use their imagination on how they can personalize the experience for that patient and that family that is walking through your doors. So this pilot has all that information. He actually uses it. Now, the point of me bringing this up and how it relates to what we're going to be talking about today is one of the pinnacles that one of the ways you know you've achieved the pinnacle of customer service is when every single employee does it. All right, whatever your teachings are, whatever your vision happens to be, whatever it is, every employee has to do it. Otherwise, you will never achieve a brand that you are trying to achieve. And this is very difficult, right? And that's why when we're done with this series, we're going to dive into, and I said this on the last podcast that I want you to go listen to. Once we're done with this series, we're going to dive into a new 3-part series that talks about how you actually accomplish these things. And the problem for United Airlines, just like the problem for your practice and most businesses, is this gentleman, this United Airlines pilot, as hard as he works and as everything he's putting in his energy and effort to, of course, be a great pilot and get people there safely, but the other side of the business that actually is going to get people to remember and pay more and come back and be loyal, he's doing something that none of the other pilots are doing. And it's the same way when you walk on a flight. You know, you have, and I pay attention to this stuff because I guess I'm weird, but I do what I do, you know, for a living. So I pay attention to everything and I break it down like, well, you could have done this and that and everything. And it's hard for me to turn it off. And the other piece that you see when you walk on an airplane a lot is you have really 2 scenarios. You have flight attendants that are busy doing their work, right? So like your clinical assistants cleaning up the sterilization room, grabbing the next tray, setting up the next tray, grabbing their next patient, getting rid of this patient up front so they can get the next patient. A lot of the flight attendants are the exact same way, right? They're setting up their trays and making sure the coffee pot is where it needs to be. And they're just all in their flight attendant job description world. But then every once in a while, you'll walk on an airplane where you have a flight attendant that's acting like what we teach all of you to have a concierge up front, which is standing there and they are meeting and greeting every single passenger that gets on the airplane. And they're stating a compliment, meaning, you know, little Joey goes by and it's like, dude, I love your baseball that you're holding. And then Mary Jones passes and she's like, you know, hi, welcome aboard. I love that blouse. It looks so pretty on you. And then, you know, Tom comes in after Mary Jones and she's like, boy, that suit looks handsome on you, sir. You know, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming aboard. Every single time. Remember, people, business first. So while some are just inundated with their flight attendant duties, others realize I'm in a people business first. The flight attendant duties will happen, but I need to find a way to be more efficient with them because I'm going to be a people business first person, and I'm going to greet and make a compliment on every single person that gets onto the airplane. And again, these are few and far between. They stick out in a good way like a sore thumb. But the problem again for United is that they are never going to be known for this. All the work the pilot puts into it, all the work some of those flight attendants put into it, they will never be known for a people business first, high-end brand experience, customer experience, and receive the loyalty from their customers that they otherwise would because not everybody does it. Now, in this case, very few do it, right? So the very few that do it really stand out. Like I remember these like they were yesterday, even though these have now been quite some time ago. This is the exact same thing for your practice, or if you're a restaurant, a plumber, a lawyer, like I said, a doctor, a whatever business owner, is that the first of the 3 ways you know you've achieved customer service, the pinnacle of customer service, is that you can confidently say to yourself that your employees do it every single time. Especially when you're not looking, right? That new patient walks through the door and all of the VIP greeting training. And if you do a tour, all the tour training and the digital workflow training, the new patient call training before they even come through the door, all the TC exam, doctor exam, presenting money, pending treatment, OBS. Are they all doing it every single time the way you want it, the way your vision is, the way you have hopefully hired somebody that are experts in the people business side of your organization like we are they doing it every single time? And that is a question all of you need to ask yourself, answer honestly, and the honest answer is most likely no. And that is something that you need to work on if you truly want an exceptional brand that will become famous in your community, like we teach and like we want for all of you. The employees have to do it every single time. All right, I want to leave you with that. Hopefully you enjoyed part 2 of this ongoing series, and this is the first of the 3 ways to achieve the pinnacle of customer service. The employees have to do it every single time. If United, if they trained the pilots and every pilot did it the way I described that pilot, if United trained and carried out, and the employees carried out how to greet passengers when they walked on an airplane, right? And they did it every single time, United would create a brand that no other airline has. No other airline can touch, especially domestically, because the domestic airlines are just, they've really gone down the wayside, to say the least. Right? And it's the same for your practice. Whatever it is, and if you haven't provided the training, this is something we're going to talk about later in this series. That's on you. But once you provide the training, the vision, all that stuff, are your employees doing it every single time? Ask yourself that question. Have that conversation with your team. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll be back with part 3 of this ongoing series soon. And thanks for following, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.